It's time for the Yacht Club Show.
Needed now more than ever.
With Killer, Rev D, and Dr. Jim.
Welcome back, Yacht Club Show listeners. Today is Friday, April 5th. First Friday of April.
Winter's almost over, at least. The snow is actually melting now.
The snow is melting. I did drive over to the studio in a snow squall. It's Tiger's opening day.
And they didn't get snowed out.
We'll remember this day as the day of the New York City earthquake. Actually, it's more of our region there, New Jersey through maybe Connecticut, I guess, was impacted. It's Pennsylvania, actually.
Really?
It was,
they felt it there?
It's far-reaching.
Do you remember any earthquakes when you were there?
Never, ever, ever, ever heard of it.
This is pretty minimal, it sounds like. Well, my daughter, Colleen, lives in the Upper West Side. She just moved there. She just moves and she gets an earthquake. Upper West Side of Manhattan, and she felt it. She said the lights started swaying, overhead lights, and...
Well, can we take any message from
I think we try to keep a position on all the key events here, and officially we've agreed. The consensus among those of the Yacht Club is New York. It's a message from God.
God has spoken.
God has spoken. Well, we
keep it up.
Yeah. Well, we were chatting here before we started recording here about some of the stuff we want to cover. I think we've got a lot of stuff going on, especially as this presidential.
Wait, Killer, are you going to get to the important stuff?
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the important stuff. Round 3 of our beer playoff. So a little summary of where we're at so far.
That's good. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We don't remember? Is that what you're saying?
I don't want to say we. I'm not going to pull you guys into the boat with me, but I'm kind of vaguely unclear as to where we're going.
So, recap.
We kind of drifted from Dr. Jim's original scientific approach, as you recall.
Yeah, I recognize none of this.
There's still been, for me, some revelations, nothing earth-shattering, but this is just some of the stuff that I've noted. I think we all came to the conclusion, kind of by a thread, that the best domestic light beer is Coors, that first round.
Right.
Although for me personally, I would not turn down a Miller Lite, is what I've learned.
Killer, you would not turn down any free beer. So let's just be candid.
Well,
right?
I did note that if offered a Bud Light, I might opt for water.
You know what, though?
See that, Dr. Jim.
Yeah,
Athletic Brewing Company, the Rev D snuck in there, a non-alcohol beer, that first round. I think it's more than acceptable. If you're looking
a beverage,
for,
but it's not a beer.
It's not a beer, but
it's better than water.
It's better than water.
Right.
Better than Bud Light.
So then the true test for you, not an Athletic or a Bud Light. That would be it.
Oh, Athletic all the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Again, I would have.
I've got Athletic in the fridge at home. That's what I buy.
The next test we're going to have.
Yes.
Okay,
time.
Let's do that. All right. So that might be we'll
been
just
doing.
Do
one-off for you.
A one-off.
One-off for you.
Yeah. Bud Light versus Athletic. I think that'll definitely build a time.
I do have to say, I do think there's one caveat we have to put in. We're not even going to pretend that this is any kind of scientific study, that this is just simply,
that
call it? It's
it's very subjective.
By the seat of your pants, sort of semi-subjective opinion, I think.
And then round 2, we learned at least through 2 rounds that Bud is still the king of beers.
Yeah. That's another thing, though. I remembered back. Remember when they had the Coke versus Pepsi challenge?
Yeah.
And Pepsi came out on top. And that was a big marketing coup for Pepsi.
Yeah.
Further study indicates that if you continue to drink the beverage, in other words, you just do a side-by-side test.
Right.
Ooh, I like. But which one do you like to drink? You get a can, you sit down and drink it.
It would have been
Which one
Coke.
do you enjoy? and it turned out that there was either no difference or the Coke was. So this is
Value
where
add.
this is where I'm going, though. Now, I think what we need to do is we need to consume a 6-pack of each.
During the show.
During the show.
Yeah, that's part of our... yeah.
Because
Okay.
I don't think you can truly evaluate
Just a
any
few
of
sips.
these
Yeah.
as a...
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
as a scientist, you
As
would
a
know,
sci-
you
That
would know
will
these
be
things.
the next
This is
play off.
well, you guys don't listen to me anyway, so I might as well.
Well, the
no,
next,
that's,
we're gonna, we'll continue on with this method. Although I'm looking at the method here, and I don't know. Dave must have thought we were out of control. He brought thimbles
He
for
wants
us to
his-
drink out
2
of
ounce.
this week.
These are pace yourself, killer. I keep telling you, pace yourself.
Can you imagine? Those little.
You're just taste testing.
This is smaller than a Dixie cup. This
no,
is.
it's 2 ounce. It's a 2 ounce.
It's a 2 ounce.
2 ounce portion cup.
I don't even. Does that even qualify as a sip, Jim?
Well, you can fill it again if you're not sure.
Yeah, but Jim said his arm's going to get tired.
I have to go to
Having
the
to fill it
gym
up all
to
the time.
continue this testing
jeez.
process. Anyway, okay. I think enough said. Let's get to
All right.
All right.
Keep going now. Where are we?
Okay, and I was just going to say, the round 2. I will never pass up a Pabst Blue Ribbon either.
Okay.
I've had a few since then, and I've enjoyed them immensely.
Okay.
All right, on to round 3. Should I mention it? We've never mentioned the beers before, so we'll keep that
Till at the end.
secret to
we don't want
reveal
to
at the
bias.
end.
We don't want to bias ourselves.
So what are our conclusions so far? That Coors is the best light beer?
Coors is the best light
And
beer, and
Bud
of the
is-
domestics so far, because this is another round of domestics, Bud. And there's no, oh my God, resounding victories here.
Right.
To Dave's point all along, it's like, I'm having a hard time distinguishing these
They're not
distinct
yeah, it's
tastes,
not- it's not
unique
a-
tastes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's sort of like your first impression on that particular day. I bet you if you did it a week later,
Could be a different winner.
Yeah, but in
So-
any event, we've got 2 conclusions. We've got 2 sort of
Yeah.
in the
we'll
lead.
call them subjective winners.
Right.
We got the Coors Light,
Yep.
which I think was a pretty clear. That one, I think.
I think that on the lights that was.
No, I'm the one that waffled between that and Miller Lite.
And Miller
at the
Lite?
very last second, I
and
changed over
Bud
to
Light
Coors.
was definitely turned thumbs
gone.
down.
Out.
An Athletic Brewing Company, we knew something was up there when we tasted that.
Yeah.
And we gave Dave a hard time when we
somebody slipped in a
found
Mickey, is
out he
what you're
snuck
saying.
that in.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right, let's all pick up number 1
One.
and drink out of your thimbles. Actually, it's kind of a sour taste to me.
Kind of notes of vanilla.
I think it's got malt from.
Should have checked the expiration dates on these when I bought them.
I think the malt is from Zimbabwe.
So
I can.
I mean, it wasn't horrible. It had more of a sour, a little bit of a sour
well,
mash.
we'll see. We'll
sour
see.
mash.
let's say maybe this is the winner. So what do we do now? 2?
Yeah. Dr. Jim thinks that he already knows what number 1 is. Now, that's pretty remarkable.
So I just want our listeners to know that the problem that we're having here is Killer just can't have a sip. He's got to.
I can't.
He's got to have a half.
I got to
can.
guzzle.
He's got to have a half.
Yeah,
can
Dave brought
to
these
go.
mason jars, and they will.
By the time we get to our 4th
They'll be
sample,
drained. They'll be drained.
our 4th sample, Killer expects not to be able to lift the cup.
That's right.
That's
The goal.
That's the goal. Okay,
All right.
what are we doing
Number,
here?
we're
Number
doing
2.
Number 2.
I think I know what this is.
I don't.
I would know that taste anywhere.
I don't see much of a difference between
I do.
that and number 1.
Really?
I don't.
Well, I think there's a huge difference.
I think, I think there's a big difference in taste too. That one is pretty
I know what number. Jim knows what number 1 is. I know what number 2 is.
bland.
I would say that it's very bland. There's a little bit of kick to number 1.
Oh, number 1's got way more
Way
kick.
more flavor.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it too bland.
What would you
I'd call it smooth.
Would you-
What's that? 2?
That's more 2 for you.
Okay.
Because you can't control yourself.
I can't. Something about being around you guys.
All right,
Just
so we
can't
like-
stop drinking.
We like number 2 better. Is that what we're saying?
No,
Oh, we
No.
didn't say that. Then number 1.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. go on to number 3, or do you want
On to number
do you want to do 1 and 2 a couple more times? Jim, you're always for multiple tastes.
I'm going to take a sip to see which one I prefer.
Okay.
I'm going with
Good
one.
point.
Because it satisfies me more than, the flavor is more satisfying than 2.
Yeah, 2 is like water. I mean,
Really?
Yeah,
It tastes like it's diluted
All right.
beer.
All right.
To me.
Take another sip of 2. I can't have this. Knowing what I think it is, I can't allow this. I'll go with number 1.
I would
1
go
so
number-
far.
You going with number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's much more flavorful, and it's not a bad. I think it's a little on the sour side, but it's
It's a
not bad.
little, yeah, I don't know if I call it sour. It's a little more, sour, I guess is a good.
Okay. Number 3.
1 to 3.
Gents, Slancha. Ooh, that is yet a different.
See, that's nothing. There's nothing there to me.
Nothing there to you.
Nothing there.
It feels foamier or something. I can't tell. Like airier to me.
It doesn't taste as watery as number 2, but the flavor is definitely flatter than number 1.
Yes.
So
So
number
if
1.
if I want a beer, I want a little bit of a kick to it.
You want more of a kick?
A little bitterness.
A little flavor.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't turn down it. Of course, you know
Well,
that.
I know.
You knew that already.
We knew that. We've established that early.
And if we're in the parking lot at St. Colette's,
I don't care what you hand me.
Give me some of that Drury. That's some good stuff.
Yeah. Give me that old Dutch, baby.
Okay, we're on to, so let's do 4, and then we can maybe go back and do some comparisons.
So
Okay.
4?
Let's do 4.
Let's do 4.
Number 4, Slancha. Wow. Every one of these tastes very different to me.
That was awful.
Huh?
4 was awful.
You thought it was awful?
Awful.
Really?
And there's no flavor. The last 3, there's no flavor to me.
See, I'm getting flavor. I am getting flavor.
I'm getting some flavor. It's got more. I think it's got more flavor than the other 2. If I had to rank these, it would be 1, 4, 3, 2.
It's amazing, Jim. That's kind of how I'd have it too.
I would go number 1 has the most flavor.
Right.
I think number 4 has some flavor. I really do.
To me, the other 3 are.
And it's also darker than than 2 and 3. So maybe
Yeah, we are going with the
maybe
2
you're getting
darkest
some,
beers. Yeah.
some roasting there or
Yeah.
something that
Wow,
gives it
so
flavor.
maybe different hops.
Although you guys are both going with 1, so 1 automatically wins.
I'm going with number 1. If I had to drink these 4, I'd say number 1.
For me, you know when I drink beer at home is after I've been out cutting the grass, hot day, and I want something smooth and light. I'm not necessarily going for flavor, but if we're doing this by just true what has the most flavor, I'd have to go with number 1.
Well, I think there's another way you could look at it is, you decide you're going to go out and get some beer for the house or something. Do you get 2 kinds of beer? Do you get 1 for
Yeah, I do.
mowing the lawn?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
So you've got like 3 6-packs.
I'll get more. I'll get a craft beer, and then I'll get a not necessarily light beer, but I'll do like a Miller or something like that for after or Corona or something like that for after mowing the lawn. The girls like Corona, so we always seem to have some in the house.
Oh.
All right, I'll go with 1 because just from a flavor point of view, we'll go with number 1. Although I'm torn between 1 and 4, just like I always
Make up your mind.
All right, 2.
All right.
1.
Should we reveal? Oh,
Reveal.
So let's go 4. Let's go.
Let's go with number 4.
Let's guess. Let's guess first.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
What's number 4?
I'm gonna say Modelo.
What are the choices?
Well,
I know what the beers are.
Well,
The 4
tell them
choices.
what the
I told
choices
Jim. I think. All right. Let's for our listeners. Modelo, Miller, Sam Adams Lager, Budweiser. Yeah, just the 4.
Okay.
Because we had to bring Budweiser back because they
Right.
won last round.
It's number 4.
Number 4. Wait a minute. I said Modelo. Does anyone want to guess?
4 is Modelo.
Yeah.
According
No,
to
I
you.
have no
Modelo.
idea.
I'm going to go with Modelo as well.
You're
because
right. You're both right. Number 4 was Modelo.
Modelo. And that was one that
Okay.
we, I
Yeah,
was
so
teetering
we got-
back and
That's
forth.
the number 1 beer in America now, right?
Right.
Is
So then we
So-
got what? Bud and
I'm thinking 2 is Miller and 3 is Bud.
All right.
And
Three
one is
Bud.
and one is Sam
Sam
Adams.
Adams?
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah, I go with Sam Adams as one. I don't know what 2. Which one you doing now?
I'm doing 3.
Hold on. let me-
3
let me
is
think
going to
about
be
it. Don't
Bud.
say it. Don't reveal it yet.
All right. All
You
right.
think
This is
it's
like
Bud.
a baby reveal here.
I think Miller is no question. Number 2 is Miller in my mind.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Bud.
And that's Miller, and that's Sam Adams.
So
Yeah.
3 is what?
3 is Bud.
Bud?
Yep.
Yeah.
3 is Bud. What, you two, I'm impressed.
Okay.
You should be.
I just,
You've accused me of having no.
We're just
You
some
accuse me
guys
of having
just like
no-
to sit around and drink any swill
no,
that gets dumped
well,
at us.
I just think it's crappy beer.
And you've accused me of having no, taste and,
Killer, I was wrong. I apologize.
Okay,
I
thank you.
apologize.
Apology accepted.
Okay, what's number 2?
Miller.
Miller High Life. How you like that?
Yeah.
Killer was right. Again. All right.
Well, I knew that as soon as I took
Now,
that
what
first
Sam
sip.
Adams is it?
It's their new remastered lager, I think. I think they call it remastered now or something.
Okay, let's open number 1 just to make sure.
Let's open it up. Just make sure Kay didn't slip one in on us.
Athletic Brewing Company. it's Sam Adams.
Sam Adams.
Sam Adams.
All right, that was
athletic. You tell me what it is, because that's what
You're
I'm
going to
getting.
buy it.
I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I'm impressed by us.
Yeah, I am too.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
You two are good.
yeah.
But Sam Adams, and it kind of makes sense. Wasn't Sam Adams kind of the first?
It was.
Yes.
That put beer back in vogue.
Right? Yeah.
Back in vogue.
Yeah.
Their summer ale is really good. Nice lemony. It's not like a Leinenkugel summer shandy, which is like drinking lemonade.
Well, it is.
Well, but
Beer or something.
Sam Adams is different. They
Yeah.
just have hints of lemon, and it's really good. All right, well,
go. So
another
Sam-
success. So
Sam
Sam Adams,
is the
I
new
would
winner?
say, tops our domestics. I don't know if there's any other domestics we want to bring in at this point.
So what outside is what did we say came in second?
Modelo. Which we're calling him a domestic. I know it's out of Mexico, but we'll call it a
Well,
domestic.
I mean,
At this point, it is with the border.
somewhere in the distant past when this all began, we had decided we were going. Maybe we hadn't decided. I thought we had decided we were going to distinguish between craft beers. We weren't going to compete with craft beers. We're not going to compete with national.
I think this
brand.
kind of proves it. I mean, the closest thing we had to a craft beer is Sam Adams, the original craft
The
beer.
original, and the closest thing to a national craft beer
Right.
is probably Sam Adams.
Yeah.
So the craft beer is
The craft beer won. Thanks for reminding us what the original goal was, or scope was for this. Yeah, our craft beer is really worth the uptick in charge, and I think they are. Well, on to the show. A lot going on. I'm going to let you guys kind of pick and choose here. What's caught your eye, caught your ear these last several weeks?
Oh, that's great. I think, for me, it's Portland, kind of going back on their drug policy. It didn't work.
Imagine that.
Who
I mean,
knew?
are we shocked?
Who
or
knew
what?
that wouldn't work?
I'm amazed. We're like, the people have always been they're like the citizens of every country. We're all crazy. All right? But you like to think that people who run the country have some semblance of competence. I can remember, you guys remember, when the Netherlands decided to experiment with open drug policy. Amsterdam. You go to Amsterdam, you get whatever you want, anything. You get whatever you want in terms of drugs or sex, even things that people know are not good for you, just wide open. and they put an end to it.
Wasn't working the way they'd hoped.
With that knowledge, it wasn't a secret what was going on. How can a city turn around and say, let's make all the mistakes the Dutch made, but it'll work for us?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's two things. Number one, we're smarter than the Dutch.
Oh, yeah, we
So
are.
we'll implement it better. And conceptually, it seems like a great idea.
Freedom. More freedom.
It seems like a great idea.
Right.
Okay, and nobody will abuse it. We always forget the human condition.
Right.
We always take it too far.
Right.
It just, we can't help it. We can't help it.
Every couple of years we discover why there are laws. Laws come about because people don't invent laws when there's no problem. Laws come about because, well, I shouldn't say that. People sometimes do invent laws because there's no problem. But generally speaking, the laws that persist and become acceptable are laws that address problems. There's a reason. Now, some of them get ridiculous. You catch a kid with a couple of joints in his pocket and you send him to prison for 5 years.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
ridiculous. But it doesn't mean no enforcement or no illegality versus sensible illegality to control what is not always the most helpful thing for people to be indulging in. I'm waiting for this gambling thing. This gambling thing is just going to get...
No, well, okay.
It makes me sick.
Again, it's if you are not addicted or it's kind of fun.
Too many people are, though.
Well,
That's the problem.
I don't dispute that with you, but you could say the same thing with alcohol.
No, I know.
Okay, so Mike, I don't know where the line is. I'm just giving you the other side, but what you're saying, Jim, it's going to affect people, and there's so much money involved. Games are going to be fixed.
Right.
We're not going to avoid it.
No.
Right.
Yeah, the gambling's going to be an issue. And you know what? College football.
Thanks, Jim.
Michigan had the last decent killer. I wanted a little bit of that. You had to kill a stout?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry,
Dave.
For crying out loud.
Sorry, Dave. Yeah, gosh.
Jeez.
I
Well,
better
give
drink
me a
this.
forge.
I better drink this fast.
That's why I do portion cups. I can get in there a little bit. You can only take 2 ounces at a time.
This is
but
what-
Michigan.
They'll be the last kind of decent national champion. College football has become professional football.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The NIL money and everything.
Yeah.
Football, I didn't hear it going this far on football. I'm watching this NCAA tournament. Okay. Mm-hmm. These players, they play 1 year at a school, and then they move on. Some of these guys are in like their 6th year of college, and they played for 4 different teams.
Yeah.
4 different
I know,
college
it's
teams.
Crazy. Because of the transfer portal now.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
There is no connection between
No.
players
For me,
in a school.
but I'm old school.
No,
But
and I
college
do-
sports is
I do
getting
understand why the kids would want to make money, and I get that from a purely capitalistic.
It's not
Look at
enough
things.
that they're getting a full ride degree from a great university.
I tend to agree with that, but I think that's old school. But when you look at what a Michigan or a Florida State or some of these colleges bring in, you're making it on my back. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
So let's back up. They're bringing in. Look at the cost of tickets now. They're building these incredible facilities, and they're all trying to outcompete each other. To me, it's spinning out of control. There's too much money, and it's ruining what was a very pure collegiate.
Right, but you just hit the nail on the head, Mike. There's too much money.
What is the American mythology that we all say we're a party to? The closest thing to a mythology that I'm seeing, what connected us all, I think it's just sports. That's where people gather around the water cooler and they talk about sports. Or that's the connection. Or they go out after work and they're looking at a ball game. But I think that's what it's taking the place in many cases of what used to be, for many people, religion.
And I think that's, I'm going to go way out there. This is going to Twilight Zone type stuff.
That's Darth Vader.
I think that sports mentality is starting to eke its way into everything. I think in politics now, you got to be on a winning team. Republicans versus Democrats. It's all about the team now.
Right.
I really feel like it's a sports mentality. This whole sports culture is starting to denigrate other aspects of our society. But, maybe that's part of our country's problem. It's all about, rah, rah. If you're not on my team, you're the enemy.
You are exactly right. All of our so-called representatives are supposed to be representing the interests of their districts or their states, senators, the states, and for the House, for the districts. But the most important thing that they do once they get in is they vote along their party's, whatever it is, policy or issue.
Which is their own self-interest, really.
Well,
which equates to that. Party's interest equals self-interest in politics.
Well, but self-interest in that the party isn't going to give you any money.
Right.
If you
Or support.
if you yes, right.
Yeah, and it's secondary if you happen to get something passed for your district. And that's why we've devolved now into having two branches of government. We have the Supreme Court and we have the president. And that's why the Supreme Court is so important and political, and it is political. That's why you have Republican judges and you have Democrat judges.
Conservative versus liberal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now you've got people who are really, really smart debating on the politics of a situation and essentially making law for the country. And that is not democracy. So the judges are elected by the representatives of the people in the Senate, theoretically. But once they're in, they're dictators for life. And so we have a situation, you can argue whether it's good or bad, where the secret to getting your point of view expressed in the country is going to be getting a majority of your political beliefs into the Supreme Court. There can't be any pretense that this is democracy when you're doing that.
No. And why is the president issuing all these executive orders? Why has it come down to the Supreme Court, yay or nay? It's because Congress isn't doing their job anymore. It's
That's
pure
right.
and simple. Pure and simple.
They're set up not to do their job. To your point, the team is number one. The team is first.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. We started out with drugs in Oregon. Then we got into gambling. And then how gambling is impacting sports. And then how it's all about the team. And we're now right back into politics. Amazing.
Yeah.
From drugs to politics. It all comes down to our dissatisfaction with the way this country's being run.
Everybody's got their silo. And I'm not going to vary from that silo.
And then we throw on top of it the thing that is really just corroding the future for us is the national debt.
Oh, geez, I didn't want to mention that because Jim, that is going to kill us.
We are adding.
Ooh,
this sounds.
Dave's pounding the table for effect there. Did you catch that?
We can tell. We each have our different hot buttons. We found
that is it. The deficit, and okay. You go on your soapbox after this, but the thing is, Killer, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe our kids will be.
Yeah, probably. Our grandkids, they're screwed.
You say like our kids are going to be okay. Even our grandkids are going to be okay because they're going to be in that upper level of the economic.
They say every generation is now starting to lose ground on their.
Okay. I do agree with you that
it's the people. It's downstream.
Downstream.
They're going to be even.
Right, but I think our grandkids will be impacted,
of course,
to some degree. You're right. They're going to be able to weather it,
right,
better than
they're going to get.
A lot of people.
They're going to get the right kind of education. They're going to know the right people in the right places to get decent jobs. They're going to have the freedom of mobility to live where they need to live. So I think that's going to be okay. But I think the people who depend on the government for services, you look at the elderly and the poor, there's going to be no money for them. We are adding, I saw this the other day. We are adding $1 trillion to the deficit every 90 days.
My mind can't even comprehend that.
Well, that's it. I think your mind can't comprehend it, and most people, just trying to put gas in their tank,
right?
Don't think about it.
No.
I mean, it's a non-issue to
the
them.
future is not bright.
I don't even see that there is even a desire to kind of, okay, let's get together and see if we can come to some semblance of priority in what we need to be moving on to ensure things don't fall apart. But this is all, whatever is going to get my team the closest to getting 60 senators, that's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's hard to beat Santa Claus.
Yes.
This just came out, Biden going back to the well with the student loan thing. Okay, why? Well, I understand why he's doing it. That's not my question. But okay, why should this be forgiven? What does that do for anybody? It's a personal responsibility thing. And I don't know if you saw this. Whitmer is proposing that
Governor Whitmer, Michigan.
Governor Whitmer, for all our listeners. Anyway, she's proposing that the federal government help the winter recreation facilities that were hurt this year by the warm winter. Okay, so they you couldn't ski. All right, so she wants.
Wouldn't there be higher priorities?
Well,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
but you know what? When we had a lousy year, nobody came
to help your
to
industry.
To say, hey, we really want to help you out.
I know.
Okay. Those toilets were.
The construction industry was down.
Construction
no one was
industry's
helping.
down, but man, we feel sorry for you, so we're gonna help you out. Nobody ever came for that. Why is that and where does she think this money comes from?
Is that truly a priority? I mean, do you want to spend money on improving inner city education, or do we want to spend money on providing more snow facilities for the, shall we say, better heeled members of our community?
Well, I think it goes back to the team.
Topsy-turvy.
She wants to get votes.
Free stuff is
Free
always...
stuff, so it sounds good. I don't think it goes anywhere.
But the fact that it was even proposed is just absurd.
And to Dr. Jim's point, there's more important things. Schools and what you're worried about.
These are our leaders. These are the decisions they're trying to make.
She wants to get elected.
Oh, well.
Well, there was an article I read this morning about the no labels. No labels. In that Bill Clinton went to people who were considering running and told them that if you run, it's a vote for Trump, or you're gonna hurt Biden, and the threat if there's anything in your closet, it's going to be revealed.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is so maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but does it surprise you that something like this would, instead of what's best for the country?
Right.
A third party would be very good for the country, in my opinion.
Well, there is an argument, and I think it's a valid one, that instead of focusing on national elections every 2 years, the no labels people should be focusing on local elections, getting local people elected, getting local representatives elected, building a foundation, and then go out from there, and then start getting representatives in Congress and start getting senators, and make sure they're funded when they run.
I hope there's a future for a third party.
Well, it has to be, but the idea that you're just going to start at the top, let's run a candidate for president, and all we have to do is get on 51 ballots.
Yeah.
I don't think is going to be a winning. The way things are going, I don't know what's going to happen with the Republican Party.
Oh,
I mean,
they're a disgrace, in my opinion.
Yeah, and after Trump, I don't know what's left. Right now, he's sort of like, it's almost like an airplane being held together with spring and glue.
Yeah.
If he wins and he does his 4 years, or he loses this time, well, if he loses this time, he's going to run again in 4 years. So that just prolongs the problem.
I don't know about his age at that point.
I disagree with you.
I don't know.
Okay.
He just enjoys it. He makes
All right,
makes a buck out of it.
Okay.
He's going to have nothing to do. It'll be his hobby. He'll go around to have rallies, and people will show up and da-da.
I agree with that, but at that point, he's going to be in his 80s?
Oh, well into his 80s.
Well in his 80s. Okay. I disagree with you on that.
A reasonable person would.
Okay. All right.
Any
sensible
human being would disagree with me.
That's fair.
But then any sensible human being would say, there's no way this guy is ever going to be a legitimate candidate for president.
Well, okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like we were talking about before we started, is that if the Democrats had just let him go away,
yeah,
and not done all these lawsuits, and he would be a non-issue right now. I truly believe that.
Well, because people are rallying behind him because they see
but this is
weaponization of systems.
This is where the Democrats are essentially a part of the problem as well. The Democrats want him to run.
Right.
We're saying the Democrats are making a mistake because he would go away if they didn't bring all this stuff up. I'm convinced they're bringing this stuff up so he doesn't go away. So he becomes the.
I think you're absolutely right.
Really?
Interesting. I think you're absolutely right.
I never considered that.
I think they're reading between the lines now. They're seeing that it may backfire on them because can you believe the polls? If he's ahead of 7 of the 8 swing states or whatever, who knows? Okay, if that's true. But they've shot themselves in the foot. And the other thing is, they're running Biden.
Yeah.
Any other Democrat could beat Trump right now.
Right.
I firmly believe.
Yeah, I do.
Well,
too.
you asked a question. You said, "What should we talk about this week?" And you were saying, "Is Trump really a danger to democracy or whatever?" And that's a discussion. People have their opinions on that. I think we have an unmitigated example of how anti-democratic the Democrats are, because there are more Democrats who do not want Biden to run than there are Democrats who want him to run. It's not even close. I don't know what the percentages would be today, but I've got to believe it's 60 or 65% of the Democrats don't want Biden to run. Yet the Democrats ignore that and refuse
to listen to the people,
their own party,
a
choice in who they want to be president. I don't know what is more undemocratic than that.
I don't know either. It just boggles my mind what's happening right now. How the hell did we get here? Okay, I don't know how we get out of it. I guess that's the biggest thing, because what you've talked about leadership and
right.
I mean, there's nobody on the horizon in
no
here.
one on the bench right now that looks like they have any potential.
Again, and I go back to the deficit, and I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer,
right?
But there's just some things happening. Why can't you see this? But we've got the AOCs and
the squad.
That's what we elect.
On the Republican side, we got wackos.
We've got, but that's who gets the press, is the wackos.
Speaking of the press, I mean, one of the reasons you can talk about why we don't get quality people, whether they be Democrats or Republicans, it used to be that the press would have some sort of judgment, exercise some sort of judgment to what makes news. In other words, what is good for the people to know. And instead, it's become what sells.
How many clicks can we get?
More beer, please.
Yeah, those drugs in Portland. I'm telling you.
It used to be that the media was a positive force in the country. Investigative journalism would reveal where corruption was, and then there would be people who would fight for the little guy to help them get ahead and keep a check on rich people. And
Yeah, the internet
it was a
destroyed
noble
it.
cause.
The internet destroyed it. Everyone's a journalist. Everyone's competing for clicks.
And mainstream media, if they see something is hot on the internet, that becomes their news.
Yep.
Because they don't want to hire reporters to go out and do the actual reporting.
Nope.
That takes away from the bottom line.
And I think there's some argument with the internet. You're getting more news now, but if the news is biased, if it's deliberately misleading, it can be more dangerous having access to that news.
You got 3 idiots like us who can broadcast news.
Yeah. We're journalists, baby.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's if we cleaned up our act and
Cleaned up our act. Are we?
What's wrong with you?
Well,
do we have that kind of?
You want us to sell out?
Like we knew what we were talking about. Somebody would go back to LCE. He cites these reports and this. Yeah, he sounded. And I couldn't refute.
No, we couldn't. He actually kind of had us on our heels.
Well, I don't read reports. I just know gut level. That stuff doesn't work. What was the thing Biden keeps getting credit for, the bill he passed? The infrastructure bill was, he admitted, it was actually...
Way just to get money in the system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, and inflation ain't going away. It ain't, they can talk all they want, but there's so much money in the system right now. It ain't going away.
This is my own personal opinion. My own personal, uneducated, ignorant opinion. When Bernanke started printing money, there is no way that there was not going to be inflation. We got away for a long time with no inflation. But once it started, which it did a year and a half ago or so, there is no stopping it. You got people at McDonald's in California making $20 an hour.
Yeah, but you know what's happening, too? These places are shutting down. These employers can't afford it. They're going to automate, and there are going to be fewer jobs.
Go into a McDonald's on... I don't
6 Mile. I know there's one.
Just go up on Haggard.
Kiosks. Yeah.
You walk in there, and
there's a person not there to take your order. Yeah.
And the only interaction you have is the guy who's going to hand it to you.
Yeah, and that'll be a robot someday.
Yeah, it'll be like an automat.
Yeah.
You'll put your order in and
it'll shoot out a chute. Yep, you're right.
And you'll have to, and no cash. It'll just be credit cards.
I think this minimum wage victory is so short-sighted. It's just going to reduce the number of jobs. It's going to accelerate the reduction of jobs.
It's going to hurt the small businesses because...
And it's going to kill the small businesses.
They're not going to be able to automate. They're not going to be able to afford the automation that they have to put in. I mean, McDonald's can do it because they can negotiate with NEC or some company that makes these cash machines or the machinery that will handle this and get a good price, install them, and maintain them.
Well, and that, the mom who had the second job to help out, that's gone. Mm-hmm. And the high school kid who wanted... we all worked in high school.
Part-time job, have some money and you're spending money.
Done.
It's done.
It's gone.
Not gonna be able to find anything.
When did working at McDonald's become a career?
You have to forgive me. I have become less and less informed. Yeah, a boat hits a bridge in Baltimore. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, Biden wants to use that to restructure the port to do it.
Just fix the damn bridge.
No, they can't fix the bridge because the environmental consequences of a new bridge
have
not been sufficient.
That's it, Jim. When it first happened, you heard how vital that bridge was to the Port of Baltimore.
Right.
And
it had obviously had some structural issues. I mean, if it's that vital, where's Buttigieg?
Yeah, I don't
Where's
know.
Mayor
Well,
Pete?
he thought it was a racist bridge, so
Is that right?
he's glad it's gone.
I keep wondering what the heck he does. I'm sure he's doing something,
I think
but he's a mystery to me.
He's on maternal leave again, isn't he?
Is he?
No, I'm just.
But if you're the head of transportation, shouldn't the most vital bridges in the country really part of some major attention to their structural integrity?
I don't know.
No?
Well, no, I don't dispute it with you, but there was an article I read mentioned 8 other bridges that are vital that
That's fine.
could be taken out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's fix it.
Okay. Then it becomes the money issue and what's.
I can't think of money better spent.
Well, okay, but we've got to do the child.
Well, we got to forgive student loans. Sorry,
Well, student
can't fix the
loans,
bridges.
We got to do this because that fixing the bridge doesn't get votes. But to what you guys are saying, if that bridge is so vital, you can't get that done.
That's crazy.
I don't know, a year. You couldn't build that thing.
Yeah.
If you really needed, Jim's right. It'll be, well, we got to do this environmental study, and it may hurt the puffer fish or something. So nothing will get done.
I know.
Nothing will get done.
Oh gosh.
You know?
I can't.
And yet people want to get into America. We bitch about it, but people are trying to get in here all the time.
That makes it even scarier. It's like this is the best there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all relative, man. It's all relative.
This is the best there is.
As screwed up as it is, and it is screwed up.
You know, we're sitting here drinking beer, bitching about this thing, but you know, we got it pretty damn good.
See you next time. Music by War on Drugs, as found on the Internet Archives, archive.org.